Okay, let's look at this letter. Let's evaluate it. Okay, initial with a date, then address. Maybe you can avoid the, and maybe you can bring the date after the address also. Dear sir, madam, regarding Mr. Philip Satchel, 73 years old. Okay, I'm writing to detail the health status of Mr. Satchel, who is planning to move to your locality for his multiple sclerosis. Just be careful about the spelling. He requires on it's S, okay, right, okay. Yeah, he requires ongoing care from your service for diabetic and wound manager. All right, Mr. Sajal has multiple health issues such as multiple sclerosis. Just be careful of the spelling, type 2 diabetics and chronic. All right, over the both legs. Instead you can say on both the legs. Okay, that would be a bit more appropriate. Okay. Currently, his multiple sclerosis is stable. However, he has frequent lapses, then hence he has to be monitored constantly for the signs and refer him to neurologist via your doctors for his follow-up. This is all right. Now, Mr. Satchel has visited. Okay. Community. This is, Mr. Satchel's last visit to community center was on February 2011. His leg ulcer were found to be infected with staphylococcus along with pus formation. He was commenced on intravenous therapy, which have been switched to. Okay, this information is an instruction, right? It's an instruction for this particular nurse, right? It's a switch, do that. And also this daily dressing, that is also a instruction that needs to be continued. So these two information needs to be continued. Okay, it's not that they did it, then it should have come in the nursing management, right? So this is an instruction that needs to be continued. Okay, and also in terms of the paragraph organization, this is fine. Okay, in first paragraph you have mentioned about MS, in the second paragraph you mentioned about ulcer, and the third paragraph I think you are mentioning about diabetes. But and in the fourth paragraph you're mentioning about his personal history. So if I have written this letter, maybe I'll start by saying that he has this condition, then I will tell the personal history. Okay, or before that I will tell the personal history by telling that if this person lives alone, but he has these conditions, and for the purpose of MS he's going to relocate. So I'll tell that in the first paragraph. Okay, then I will tell about the diabetic situation, then I will tell about the ulcer situation, because the ulcer situation and the diabetic situation are connected. So we cannot disconnect them entirely. So maybe both can be mentioned in the paragraph. If you look at the discharge plan, in the discharge plan they're saying switch to oral antibiotics but continue the diabetic medication and dressing. So both information are interconnected. So it's better to mention them in one paragraph, and history and MS can be mentioned in one paragraph. That would be more ideal. For me, I find it more ideal to write in such a way. But this is all right. I mean, but this understanding of the question, I think there are some issues, because it's an instruction to the new community nurse, not that they have started it. So just be careful about this. Grammatically there are less errors, but in terms of structure, I think in terms of arrangement you need to improve. Okay, Mr. Satchel has poor compliance with oral diabetic agents and diet. He was educated regarding diabetes. He will also benefit from blood glucose monitoring and medication compliance. He's on metformin this 3 times per week. Therefore, a referral to Prince of Wales Diabetic Clinic for medication review and further education would be this would be good. But as I said before, first mention about diabetic situation, then or you can mix it with the ulcer and then mention these information, that is final discharge information. I would have done something like that. So I would write diabetics plus ulcer together and finally all instructions together at the end. Anyway, this is a different approach. If our Mr. Satchel lives in a public plane or more house easily, he is a beneficiary of aged pension and is isolated. He needs support from community services for coping. This is fine, but I would have written this in the first paragraph, and I would have brought all instructions together at the end, like regarding the Prince Wales, regarding the reference, all information I would have brought at the end. But in the first paragraph I would have written about personal history, and then about the MS that he is going to shift for further treatment. And then I would have mentioned about diabetic and ulcer. In the final paragraph, I would have given instructions like oral, changing into oral antibiotics. It's diabetic compliance problem. Then, oral antibiotics. Then referring to this Prince Wales Diabetic Clinic, and then to support help him to link with community services. So this would have been a bit more ideal way to organize this information. Anyway, this is a good attempt. There are very less grammatical errors except for some spell errors. It's a well written essay, but in terms of structure it could have improved. Feel free to contact me for further queries. You can just write, please. It will be more feel free, and gives a informal tone to the letter. You can write, please do not hesitate to contact me. That is more appropriate, that is more formal in tone. Yours faithfully, Charles Nurse. This is a good essay, but in terms of some structure, it needs some improvement. All right.